Hey neighbor, welcome to the show. Seems like fall has finally arrived and those cool temperatures are slowly creeping in, but something seems missing here. Something's a little off, isn't it? Yes, Mama Hoss and Hoss have hightailed it out of town and they're on a much needed vacation. It's honestly been a crazy few weeks, if not months around here, and I'd say it is well deserved. Now typically at this point, what they would do is tell you what we got going on in the garden. But with them not here today and me taking over, I think what we're going to do is something a little different. I think I'm going to take you guys with me around here and just show you what we got going on out in the garden. With that being said, there is something to keep in mind. The old Hoss bobblehead will be hidden out in the garden, so keep an eye out for that as I give you a tour around the place.
Welcome to the Row by Row Gardening Show, the best dadgum gardening show on the internet, where we talk about gardening, a little bit of cooking, and growing your own food. Now sit back and enjoy.
Now we are going to start off down here in Mama Hoss's Potager garden. It fully embodies the name. As you can see, the layout is really geometric. We have a bunch of different plants, including flowers and vegetables, all put in one, including some of those perennial herbs. Bear in mind, you will hear some construction noises in the background. We'll just try and tune those out as we take a tour through down here. So right here, we have the Raja Cayenne. These are extremely productive peppers. We've had these here for I'd say about 4 months now, and they're still going, unlike our other peppers that we had up here that I'll show you later. Along with this, we have our lemon spice jalapenos. We don't carry these, but you may have seen these when we did our pepper taste testing. These suckers pack a big punch. They have about 25,000 Scoville units. This is unlike many jalapenos, which come in around 8,000 Scoville units, so you really want to be careful with these. Like I said, this fully embodies the Potager garden theme, as we got some beautiful Dreamland zinnias, which we also do not carry, in here in the same bed as these peppers. So we got kind of the benefits of the beauty with the food and the produce. This right here is feverfew. It's a wonderful herb to have in your garden, as it's a perennial and it's going to come back year after year. It will die off from the frost here in the fall, but what's so good about this plant is that it is a great pest repellent. It repels those moths, mosquitoes, and all those caterpillars in your garden, so it's good to keep around all your vegetables to repel those pests. Next up, we have another pepper plant. This is our Tabasco. It is really good for making pepper sauce. It's more of a perennial, whereas all your other pepper plants are going to be annuals. This will come back year after year, and you will get loads of small peppers. Around this time of the year, they will stop producing and they will put on blooms like this, and then they will drop those blooms. But it's a beautiful pepper plant to have in the garden. So these are climbing brown-eyed Susans. You may have heard of brown-eyed Susans and black-eyed Susans, the native perennials that you'll find growing on the roadsides around these parts of the country, but these are a little bit different. These are known to have that black center. You'll see a bee butt sticking out every once in a while. It's beautiful, and it's a great flower for your native pollinators, and they absolutely love this. We do not carry it, but we're thinking about adding it to our selection. As you can see, it's a great climber. We're hoping to get this to trellis all the way over before the fall kills it off, and then it will die back and just grow back from where it once was and continue to fill in this trellis. Now, unlike years in the past, this year Mama Hoss decided to grow these sweet potatoes in a raised bed down here. She told me she doesn't usually do this, but as you can see, they really performed extremely well. We did get some pest damage because she was out for a while, but I've been down here spraying these, keeping these alive, and unlike our other sweet potatoes, these didn't really experience rabbit damage since they are raised up in these raised beds. But they've put on really well, and these are getting close to digging, as you can see from these blooms. So hopefully we can get out here within the next few weeks and get these dug. All right, in our next bed, right here next to the sweet potatoes, we have our lemon drop plant, or what's known as toothache plant. And what this is good for is it's a local anesthetic. It is a medicinal herb, and when you get a toothache, if you put it right on that toothache, it'll numb it instantly. Now, the main attraction of this bed is this beautiful echinacea, or what's known as purple coneflower. It's a beautiful medicinal herb that's good in any garden. It is a native to our area, and what's so special about this is it offers those medicinal and pollinator benefits. so it attracts those native pollinators. It's really good for infections, it's good for stomach aches, and you can collect this and dry it and put it in your teas, and it should cure those stomach aches. Now this right here is bee balm, and there's many different varieties of this, just like many of your other perennial herbs. And what I thought this was called bee balm for specifically was because of its nativeness and its ability to attract those beneficials and pollinators into the garden. But what I've come to find out is it's actually really good to rub on bee stings, and it will instantly eliminate those the pain you feel from those bee stings. When you smell it, it has kind of a astringent, kind of a peppery smell, and it's a beautiful herb. You can also add this into your teas if you want. I don't exactly remember what it does, but it has those medicinal aspects when you put it in your herbal teas. Right here, I don't know too much about this, but it is another one of our medicinal herbs. I don't think this was planted here this year. Just like most of your perennials, it is gonna come back, but this is motherwort. And what you can see is these tiny bracts, these beautiful little flowers. It's good for those small wasps and flies that don't really have the ability to pull nectar from larger flowers, so they'll come in here and they can collect that nectar from these little bracts. Now this bed really threw me for a loop, and it really surprised me. This is basil. It's also a great plant for pollinators. You find it in most Italian dishes, in your dried herb collections. What we have here is we have a dark opal purple variety. This isn't the one that we carry. It was a variety that we were trying out for organic seed, but as you can see around this time of the year when things are slowing down, since this is mainly a warm season herb, it's putting out all these blooms, which is an absolute magnet for pollinators. Now this variety right here, this green one, is known as Greek basil. It's a little bit different than all your other basils, and it has a much smaller leaf. You can see there, it's a very much smaller leaf, and it's kind of a bushy plant. Most of your basils are peppery. This is extremely peppery, but you get kind of those sweet licorice accents at the end, and we're really thinking about adding this due to its bushing habit for you guys. Okay, what we have here is our asparagus. Mama Hoss has planted this in a raised bed, and this is a beautiful, beautiful perennial that can last up to 15 or 20 years if taken care of real well. Most people do get confused by this foliage, as it does resemble a fern, and they're used to the spears, but this is what you get when those plants are sending up that vegetation prior to sending up those spears. Now you're not going to want to harvest this plant in the first year, as you want to get those roots a good enough time to establish in the ground and get used to their environment. Second year, you can slowly start to harvest, but you still want to be careful with this plant as it's still establishing, as it is a long, hardy perennial. But in the third year, it should reach maturity, and from then on to 15 to 20 years, you should get a bountiful harvest of asparagus spears. Another thing you want to watch out for is in the fall, you're going to want to wait until this foliage dries out, it kind of browns down, and it's frost killed. So you want to chop that back, and you want to mulch this ground really well to keep those crowns really secured and make sure they make it through the fall frost. All right, moving on over, we have turmeric here. This you want to make sure you plant in the spring because it's going to be an 8 to 10 month growing period, and then you're going to harvest these roots in the fall when you see the plant starts to die back right before the frost comes. Just like the asparagus, the foliage will turn brown, and that's when you know you want to harvest. Now this is hyssop. It is another one of those perennial herbs that works really well for pollinators in the garden. I'm not too familiar with it, but I do know that it has a long history of medical benefits and medical uses in Native American culture. It sends up these long shoots, and it eventually will bush out and put out those kind of lavender blooms. Let's take a taste of this. It's got a really bitter, kind of tarragon-ish taste that's really good and used in foods. So it is a medical and culinary herb that you can use in the kitchen. Now as we get over here on the back side of Mama Hoss's potager garden, we get into the native section. This is one of my favorites. Right here we have butterfly milkweed, Asclepias tuberosa, and this is great for monarch populations as they come up from Mexico and Florida in the spring and pass through. This is the only host plant that they will use to lay their young, and those young will eat those leaves. They will fly further north to get through the heat, and then when it starts to cool back down, they'll pass back through, and they'll know that this plant is here. They can stop and rest on their journey back south to overwinter. Okay, this is Mama Hoss's native hibiscus section. Mama Hoss absolutely adores her native hibiscus. Many of these aren't native to the state, but they're native to the country, and they're absolutely amazing at attracting pollinators. They are part of the mallow family, which you'll find your okra and your cotton in, and you can really tell by those blooms and that foliage that they put off that that's exactly what they are. Now these are the Azumi XL asters that I got from Cicada that I'm trialing out. This is the red variety. We also got the rose, but they didn't perform as well in the greenhouse, so I just planted the red. These are starting to get about a foot tall, and as you can see, I've trellised them up because asters are known to send up that single stem with that large 3-inch bloom. And what I'll do about this time is I'll come in here and I'll take some of these upper blooms off, and what this is called is disc budding. And what it will do is it'll add an extra inch to that top bloom whenever it comes time to harvest in a few weeks. So as you can see here, we have a larger row of sweet potatoes, unlike down in Mama Hoss's potager garden, and these were absolutely eaten to death by rabbits this year. We had to come through multiple weeks in a row and hit these with milk to try and repel those rabbits and keep them off. And eventually, with enough watering, these did bounce back, and you can see they've absolutely taken over this plot up here. Just like down there, these are getting close to digging, so in the next coming weeks, I will get out here and get these dug up. So this right here is our Navajo flat bean and our Green Blaze green bean. This is a Hoss exclusive. It is great for heat tolerance down here in the south. It has that bean set at the top of the plant, so you got easy, clean harvesting, and it is extremely productive. This is our second planting of both of these beans, so we're hoping we can get a really good, clean harvest right before that fall frost, and it's looking like they're coming along well. The only problem we are having now, and that most gardeners in the south and farmers around the area are experiencing, is a high pest pressure from whiteflies. I'm having to come out here and spray these things 2 times a week. You can't see it right now, and there's not many active at the moment, but usually when you hit these plants, clouds of whiteflies just fly up. So lastly, right here in this plot, we have the Alabama blue collard. This is an heirloom variety from Alabama that's known for this purple veining and midrib on your collard leaf. And then you also have this blue-green beautiful foliage. And this collard is really well at taking that early frost, and what that's only gonna do is it's gonna make those leaves more tender, and it's gonna make them sweeter. So you'll have those beautiful collards come here in the next month that are gonna be ready to eat. If we come on down a little further, we have the Eastern Crown broccoli. This isn't a variety that we carry, but it is out of the Cicada breeding program, and it performs exceptionally well on the East Coast, hence the name Eastern Crown. It's gonna give us those big, tight, small beaded heads, so we get a really uniform broccoli harvest out of here, and it does exceptionally well with the change in daylight. It can produce under low daylight situations, which is perfect as we transition into these shorter days. But it is sort of day neutral, so it can handle that heat and those long days in the summer as well. All right, so we've made our way back up here to the main garden at the Hoss headquarters, and the first thing I want to show you is our raised bed plot. Right here, like I said, we've had problems with rabbit all summer long, so what we did is, instead of planting many of our other summer flowers, we decided to go with celosia, and I didn't really have to hit these with milk at all. These are performing exceptionally well. I pinched these when they got about 10 inches tall, and as you can see, they're starting to send out a few more branches than just that main head. This is the beautiful chief variety, and it's known as a coxcomb variety. You got your plumes and your spikes, which give you those outward kind of Christmas tree looking blooms, but these will form those cranium big old heads that look like a brain kind of bloom. It's an absolutely beautiful variety. We carry the mix, as you can see. There's multiple colors in here, and it's an absolutely exceptional performer in the summer garden. As we move back a little more into our raised beds, this right here is just some more feverfew, exceptional at repelling pests. It's a perennial herb. We will end up taking it out of this beds because we like to flip these beds every once in a while and make sure we're keeping a variety of fruits or vegetables and flowers in the garden, as well as herbs. So this will get taken out, unlike down in Mama Hoss's garden. Now right here, what we have is a variety that we do not carry, known as King Choy Pak Choy. It's one of those little Chinese cabbages, and I just wanted to try this out. What we did with these is we put these in what's called a grow coon. It is a biodegradable kind of pocket that you will grow the seeds in the tray, and when you plant it, It does really well at pulling out of those trays, and it should break down from the microbes, so we're kind of just playing around with some things right here in this bed. Right here, this funky looking unusual plant is an apricot straw flower. It has a weird looking foliage. It kind of bushes out. It looks almost weedy, but it will send out those beautiful kind of crown looking apricot straw flower blooms that you're kind of used to seeing. And what's interesting about this that I've read is that they do open slightly in the morning and they do like to close up at night. So when you harvest these, you want to make sure you're getting them early in the morning when they're starting to open up so you don't have a closed bloom in your bouquets. Lastly, in this raised bed plot, what we have here is some of our dwarf zinnias. They've gotten quite large, some of them, so it may be a little different take or view on what you think for the dwarf zinnias, but they've done an exceptionally well job here. I've had to replant these over and over because the rabbits just won't leave them alone, but you can see these really got their feet under themselves and they're putting out big bushy blooms of beautiful zinnias. Okay, this is the St. Kitts and Nevis Roselle hibiscus that we like to grow every year. We were gifted this from Turkey Hill Farms out of Tallahassee, and as you can see, these absolutely did exceptional this year. They are very top heavy right now as they're starting to put on these huge calyxes and seed pods. But if you can see right here, we've kind of experienced some what looks like burn and damage to the edges of the leaves. Maybe you might take that as a burn or a nutrient deficiency. But from what I've read is you can't see on the back of these leaves, you can see those little green bugs right there. And those are known as the two-spotted cotton leafhopper. And what they'll do is they are a piercing and sucking insect, which means they have a little needle-like mouth part, and they will suck the sap out of the leaf, and it causes what's called jacid burn or leafhopper burn, which really resembles nutrient burn. The populations are out of control and these plants are far beyond the point of needing to be sprayed anyways, so we haven't really had to manage this problem too much on this. As we can see, it performed exceptionally well regardless of the damage. They really didn't get after this crop, but they really did get after our okra, and we really had problems with our succession planning because the populations really got out of control. Now this is a 90-day variety. It is going to start loading up not based on day length, but it is based on days to maturity, which sometimes people get that confused, as it will start blooming as the days start to get shorter. But it is a 90-day to maturity variety and it will bloom based on that. You will harvest these large calyxes when they get about this size, and you'll peel these off and you'll dry them, and they're really good for making infused drinks and drying down to make teas with. And then further on in the fall, heading into the December and January window, these will dry up and we will harvest these seeds to send back out to you guys. Now you may have heard a lot about multiplying onions, as it is a fan favorite around here. And what we like to do is we like to plant whole plots of this. And what these onions will do is, you don't grow them from seed. They will form clusters of onions, of bulbs, and we will harvest those every 3 or 4 months, and we'll split them, and then we'll replant them to get even larger clusters the following months. These go by many things. People call them green onions, stallions, but we just call them multiply onions around here. Now this is the potato variety, and that is another name that people call these multiplying onions, is potato onions, but this is specifically a variety known as potato. And I just got these planted at the end of last week, and as you can tell, they are absolutely loving it here. They're sending up this foliage already. It only takes a few days before these things kick into action. In this plot this year, we did something a little different. Greg gave me a little bit of freedom to try a few things out and test some varieties out. And we've been working on getting some cut flowers out to you guys. I've been working with a bunch of sunflowers, some zinnias, and some more celosia. This variety specifically is the Vincent Choice out of Cicada's ornamental breeding program. And it's a beautiful, beautiful sunflower for cut flowers. It has those orangish to yellow bright petals that are kind of ovate. It's a weird shaped petal, but what's interesting about this variety is it is day neutral, so it performs under short day and long day conditions, so you get that extended bloom and harvest period, as well as the head sits at a 45-degree angle, unlike most of your flower varieties, which really helps with that performance in your bouquets. So lastly in this plot, we have our top pick pink eye peas, and these are an improved field pea variety, so they're not your normal green or sugar snap pea. These will top set, so you will also get that clean, easy harvest off of these, and they absolutely load up with purple peas. What I mean by purple is when they get to maturity, they will change from a green or a cream color to a purple, and you get those really tight pods of your cream peas, or what people call field peas. They've done exceptionally well regardless of the rabbit populations out here absolutely ravaging them. But beside it, what you can see is we had our Supremo beans, and the rabbits ate every last one of them. We just can't, we have no solution for them outside of milk, so we've kind of just let them go and do their thing, and we're trying to salvage what we can from these plots of peas. If you've checked the website recently, you may have seen these, the Reverend Taylor butter bean, back on the website. We've been out here growing you a seed crop all summer long. We planted these in early spring. They've made it through the hot summer months. They do exceptionally well through those hot summer days, and they will die off in the fall. But as these temperatures start to cool down like they are now, these pods start to dry back out just like this. And what's so good about this variety and growing it for seed is that it shells extremely easy, and you get those cream colored beans that are slightly speckled with crimson and orange. And it is an exceptional performer in the southern garden, and I recommend that you go on the website and pick these up today. All right, now that we're back inside, I do want to go over a few things here. We do have the Get Dirty Sweepstakes going on. This started on September 1st, and it will be running through September 30th. We are giving away a brand new, decked out 2025 Polaris Ranger, and you do not want to miss out on this. You're going to be the talk of the town. You'll get the attention of all your friends and your neighbors. And if you want any more details on how you can win that and how we'll get it to you, go on over to the website and you can find more details there, or check the video description. Okay, also what we have going on right now is we are smack dab in the middle of getting you guys your brassicas, your berries, like your blackberries, blueberries. Pre-sales just started for onions, and I believe our strawberries just started at the beginning of this week. And with how good those things are turning out, we're hoping maybe within the next few weeks we can get those shipped out to you guys. Oh, and garlic. Make sure you get your garlic. All these things are going fast, so you don't want to miss out on that, and you want to make sure you get on over to the website and check that out. Alright, with that being said, let's go ahead and do our garden spotlight. Let's see here. This is our friend Andy Lawson, yes, over in Zone 7B. You can check them out at True Grit Appalachian Ways on YouTube, and they are up in North Carolina. These are close friends and affiliates of Hoss, and as we can see here, we got Maggie and Jacob in their gardens. They got some beautiful corn. It looks like they got some beautiful zinnias. It's always good to see the youngins out there in the gardens, getting their hands dirty and doing what Mother Nature intended us to do. Let's go ahead and do our drawing for the old goat, the bobblehead, and this week, or last week's winner, sorry about that, is John McCarty at BustinRootz. If you go ahead and send your address over to support@growhoss.com, we'll make sure to get you your pair of Get Dirty socks, so you can get out there and get dirty like us. Alright folks, I hope you enjoyed the tour. I hope you had a good time seeing what we got going on in the garden as we transition from summer and spring over into our fall gardens. A few of those perennials that you can keep in the ground down in your potager gardens. Make sure you get your plants, your brassicas, your blackberries, your blueberries. We got strawberries, onions live now, garlic's flying fast. And those are all that we have to talk about today. So I hope you guys enjoyed the tour and the show. We'll catch you next week, and make sure you get out there and get dirty.